Ever have a weekend free and you're itching to go somewhere and scratch another far-flung country off the list? Somewhere strange and distant and exotic and cool. Somewhere your friends had never been. Well, I had that chance and I took it and wound up 7,000 miles away from home in a strange land, where I only spent a day, but it was as memorable as hell. And it reminded me of the way we should all travel when you have the chance. Book the ticket and just go for it, no matter how short the trip. It's the lesson I learned in Armenia, and it's this week's episode of Window Seat. Vacation day trips are supposed to be glamorous, right?
It's called the Mediterranean.
Well, they're not, but that's okay. This was one of those that if you get the chance to take, you just do. Welcome to Armenia.
And the rooms on the left and on the right are used for the prayings.
The off the beaten path, literally, destination in this week's episode of Window Seat. A recent adventure took me to the Republic of Georgia and its capital Tbilisi. This place is growing for wine tourism and sure does hospitality right from the moment you get off the plane. The customs agent handed me a bottle of wine as I entered the country. That's right, a government agent provided alcohol upon arrival. Now that's welcoming. I explored the country, but I had an empty day on my calendar, and I wanted to go to another country. Once you know it, Armenia was right next door, calling out my name. Armenia. Maybe you know about it because of the Kardashians. Maybe you're one of the very few American tourists who've been to Yerevan. But those people are too fancy. Those destinations too exotic for where we're headed. When you cross the border into Armenia, this is what you get. We're off to check out a couple of UNESCO heritage sites and get some history lessons about northern Armenia. I booked a tour with a local tour company beforehand, and we have a link in the bio so you can experience the same things I did if you're interested. The fog and cold add a bit to the vibe of the trip. First up is the Octala Monastery in the Lori province, a little less than 200 kilometers to Yerevan.
But it's very beautiful inside. You're going to see.
This 13th century monastery isn't on the UNESCO list yet.
So this is also Armenian icon. And you can see the huge difference, for example, from this one.
Known for the frescoes all over the walls, it is quite the spot. Then it's back on the road to the next stop.
For the second destination, called
Hakpat Monastery.
It was built in 976 by the support of Armenian Queen Hoshirovanos.
Called a masterpiece of religious architecture and major center of learning in the Middle Ages.
As I told you, these are the small, these are like a chapel, these are like a small churches.
It was added to the UNESCO Heritage List in 1996.
So this acoustic hall was used by the monks.
Now, there is definitely a special atmosphere to being in the main cathedral.
This is the St. Chad's Church. You enter inside. You will see this two rooms.
So we had to climb to the top.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Now I realize this place has survived earthquakes and wars. But these stairs still don't go well with my fear of heights. And once up top,
I'm not going up there. Oh yeah.
the views are breathtaking. After climbing down and exploring the wine fermentation room,
above them. So they put the clay on it and then they draw the frescoes.
it's off to the last stop, Sanahin Monastery. Embarrassingly, starting the day without a fully charged GoPro means this is going to primarily be pictures here. It's the second UNESCO heritage spot on the trip. It is also the birthplace of Artem Mikoyan, the designer of the first MiG fighter jets. Hence the jets just outside the monastery. Then back to the paved roads of Tbilisi, with a nice fireworks show on the route home. It was a long, cold day, but definitely worth doing if you ever get the chance. And more than anything, this day trip served as a reminder. Always go with your gut. Always book that ticket on impulse. Step outside your comfort zone and travel to a place you didn't plan on going. These trips are pretty much always the most memorable. And there are many more to come right here on Window Seat. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see where our travels take us next, and what we can all learn from each other along the way. See you next time.